Look at your cat right now. If they have a thick, beautiful coat of fur, it's easy to look at them and think they're perfectly equipped for the cold. Most people assume that because cats have built-in fur coats, a chilly house or a crisp winter morning is no big deal to them. Cats are tough, right? End of story. But here is the thing. That beautiful fur is hiding a dangerous reality, and if you are waiting for your cat to start shivering before you turn up the heat, you have already missed the warnings they've been trying to send you for weeks. Let's start with the biggest myth of all, the idea that cats handle the cold better than we do. They don't. In fact, a cat's normal baseline body temperature is significantly higher than a human's, hovering anywhere between 100 to 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit. What feels like a slightly brisk, comfortable room to you is actually a physiological struggle for them. They aren't just feeling a little chilly. They are actively fighting to maintain their core temperature. And when a cat gets cold, the risks are entirely silent. 1. The invisible toll on their body. When we think of a cat getting cold, we usually just picture them feeling uncomfortable. But a drop in body temperature triggers a cascade of internal emergencies. The first is the risk of mild hypothermia. This isn't just a winter storm scenario. It can happen in a drafty house. When their core temperature drops, their heart rate slows down. Their breathing becomes shallow. If left unchecked, this can lead to severe lethargy and even unresponsiveness. But even if it doesn't reach hypothermia, the cold is quietly draining their immune system. Cold weather doesn't spontaneously create viruses, but it completely depletes a cat's energy reserves. The calories and energy they would normally use to fight off everyday bacteria are suddenly redirected entirely toward generating body heat. This is exactly why cats are so prone to sudden upper respiratory infections, the feline equivalent of a severe cold or flu during the winter months. They didn't just catch a bug. Their defenses were down because they were freezing. And if you have a senior cat, the cold is a silent torturer, just like in humans. Dropping temperatures cause joint fluid to thicken and muscles to stiffen. If your older cat has mild arthritis that you barely notice in the summer, the winter cold amplifies that ache tenfold. Suddenly, jumping onto their favorite chair isn't just difficult, it's painful. 2. How to actually read a cold cat. Cats are masters of disguise. Thousands of years of survival instincts tell them that showing weakness makes them a target. They will never walk up to you and tell you they are freezing. You have to know what to look for. Let's look at their behavior. You've probably seen your cat sitting in the classic meatloaf position, paws tucked in, looking like a loaf of bread. It's adorable. But there is a massive difference between a relaxed meatloaf and a freezing meatloaf. When a cat is truly cold, that posture becomes incredibly tight. They will tuck their paws so far under their body you can't see them at all, and they will wrap their tail tightly around their nose. They are making themselves as small as physically possible to minimize the surface area exposed to the cold air. It's a survival posture. Then, there's the heat-seeking behavior. Does your fiercely independent cat suddenly refuse to leave your lap? Are they suddenly obsessed with the top of the refrigerator, the Wi-Fi router, or the hood of your car if they go outside? That's not random affection. That's desperation. They are siphoning heat from wherever they can find it. They will also sleep significantly more, sacrificing playtime to conserve the precious calories needed to shiver and generate heat. But if you want to know for sure, you need to use physical touch. There are 3 critical indicator spots on a cat's body: the tips of their ears, their paw pads, and the very tip of their tail. These are their extremities. When a cat's core temperature drops, their body does something incredibly smart but dangerous. It restricts blood flow to the extremities to keep the vital organs warm. If you touch your cat's ears and they feel like ice, your cat is losing the battle against the cold. And then there is shivering. Here is a truth most owners don't know. Dogs shiver to warm up. It's an early response to the cold. But cats rarely shiver. If your cat is visibly shivering, They are not just a little cold. They are in distress. Shivering in a cat is a red alert that their body temperature has dropped dangerously low. 3. The right way to help. So, what do you do? Most people's first instinct is wrong. Never try to warm up a freezing cat by giving them a hot bath. Their system is already stressed, and the sudden extreme temperature change can send them into clinical shock. Also, be incredibly careful with human heating pads. A cat's skin is much thinner and more sensitive to thermal burns than ours. If they are lethargic and fall asleep on a heating pad that is too hot, they can suffer severe burns without even waking up to move. Instead, think like a cat. They need enclosed insulation. A simple cardboard box is actually a brilliant insulator. Line it with a thick fleece blanket. Fleece traps body heat better than almost any other fabric. Elevate their bed off the floor as cold air settles at ground level. And finally, give them a few extra calories. An extra spoonful of wet food, gently warmed up, gives their internal furnace the fuel it needs to keep running. 4. The twist. When it goes the other way. We've spent all this time talking about the cold, but there is a flip side to a cat's temperature regulation that is just as dangerous, and somehow even more misunderstood. Cats run hotter than us, which means they can tolerate a sunny windowsill better than we can. But when they cross their threshold, they crash fast. Heatstroke in cats is a silent killer. Here is the biggest myth you need to unlearn today. Panting. If you take your dog for a walk on a summer day and they start panting, you don't panic. Dogs pant to cool down. It's normal, but if you see your cat sitting on the floor, mouth open, panting like a dog, that is an absolute, undeniable medical emergency. Healthy cats do not pant. Period. They don't use their mouths to regulate heat under normal circumstances. By the time a cat is panting, their natural cooling systems have completely failed. What are those natural systems? Sweating. But cats don't sweat through their skin like we do. They only have sweat glands in their paw pads. If you ever notice wet little paw prints on your hardwood floor on a scorching July afternoon, your cat is deeply uncomfortable and sweating profusely to drop their core temperature. If that fails, the heavy drooling starts. They will become wildly uncoordinated. Their heart will race, and they will collapse. Whether they are tightly curled into a ball hiding from the winter chill, or open-mouth breathing on a hot summer afternoon, the reality is the same. Your cat is carrying ancient, wild instincts inside a tiny, domesticated body. Those instincts tell them to suffer in silence, to never show how vulnerable they really are, when they sleep pressed against your side, or when they retreat to a dark, quiet closet. They aren't just acting quirky, they are reacting to their environment, and they are relying on you to notice. Our job as cat owners isn't to wait until they are shivering or panting in exhaustion. Our job is to learn to read the invisible messages they send us every single day. Because to them, it's not just about comfort, it's about survival. Have you ever noticed your cat doing any of these strange temperature-regulating behaviors? Where is the weirdest place your cat has hidden to stay warm? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this video helped you understand your cat just a little bit better, hit that like button and subscribe. It is the best way to support the channel and join a community of people who actually care about decoding the secret language of cats. See you in the next one.